Hello everyone. I am Dr. Mary N. Odio from Nagaland University. Today I'll be introducing neoclassical organization theory, a transformative perspective in the field of organizational behavior. This theory marks a shift from rigid structure focused thinking to one that centers on people, relationships, and human potential. Neoclassical theory emerged in response to the limitations of classical theory. It recognized that organizations are not just mechanical systems. Instead, it emphasized the emotional, psychological, and social needs of individuals at work. The Hawthorne studies between 1924 and 1932 played a key role in bringing this shift. Neoclassical theory is shaped by two main schools, the human relations school and the behavioral school. The former focuses on social relationships and group dynamics, while the latter looks at individual behavior, motivation, and leadership. Together, they laid the foundation for a people-centered approach to management. The human relations school showed that social needs like belonging and group identity are powerful motivators. Informal groups shape productivity and worker morale is key. Managers must engage in communication, empathy, and trust building. The behavioral school expanded the theory further by emphasizing individual differences, motivation, and leadership style. It promoted participative decision making and recognized the need for self actualization, making management more humane and empowering. The Hawthorne studies conducted by Elton Mayo and his team were instrumental. They included the illumination experiments, the relay assembly test room, and the bank wiring observation room. These studies revealed that social and psychological factors significantly influence work behavior. Thinkers like Abraham Maslow, Douglas McGregor, and Chris Argyris shaped the behavioral school. They contributed ideas such as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, McGregor's theory X and Y, and Argyris' maturity-immaturity theory, all focused on the growth and motivation of individuals. The Hawthorne studies at Western Electric explored how observation, group interaction, and social context affect productivity. They marked a turning point in recognizing that workers' emotional needs are just as important as physical conditions. In the illumination experiments, lighting levels were changed to observe productivity. Interestingly, output improved regardless of lighting. This led to the concept of the Hawthorne effect, which says people perform better when they feel observed and acknowledged. In this experiment, six women were placed in a friendly, semi-autonomous setting where rest breaks, incentives, and shoulder hours were introduced. Productivity increased even when those improvements were withdrawn. What truly made the difference was the friendly and supportive atmosphere the women worked in. In this study, 14 men were observed in their usual work setting. The group developed informal norms regulating output. Workers who exceeded or fell below the group standard were socially sanctioned. This revealed the power of informal group norms over productivity. All these experiments proved that psychological safety, social interaction, and recognition are fundamental to workplace performance. They laid the foundation for more inclusive, respectful, and responsive organization management style. Let's understand The influence of behavioral school of thought on neoclassical theory. The first is Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs shifted attention from mechanical job structures to human motivation. His theory emphasized that employees are driven by needs beyond just money, like belonging, esteem, and self actualization. This led to a more human-centric approach in organizational management, where motivation and personal growth became key. Douglas McCracker's Theory X and Theory Y challenged rigid assumptions of classical theories. Theory X aligned with the traditional control-based model, but Theory Y proposed that employees are self-motivated and thrive in supportive environments. This directly influenced neoclassical thought by advocating participative leadership and decentralized decision making. Chris Argyris' maturity-immaturity theory introduced the idea that organizations should enable psychological growth. His view supported flatter hierarchies, open communication, and development-oriented leadership, the core features of neoclassical approaches that value informal structures and employee development. Together, these thinkers moved organizational theory beyond formal rules and roles to consider individual behavior, motivation, and interpersonal relationships, which are the hallmarks of the neoclassical perspective. The human relations and behavioral schools complement each other. One looks at group dynamics, the other at individual growth. Together, they provide a multi level understanding of human behavior in organizations, forming the heart of neoclassical theory. Thus, we understand that neoclassical theory evolved by combining the emotional awareness of human relations with the motivational focus of behavioral science. It replaced the idea of an organization as a machine with a vision of the organization as a living social system. In summary, neoclassical theory enriched our understanding of organizational behavior by recognizing that it's not just the processes, but it's the people who drive performance. It redefined organizational management as a human centric process, laying the groundwork for modern leadership, motivation, and organizational culture. Thank you.